Hey, it's Dan Zimmerman. Welcome to Illustrate to Educate. Don't forget to subscribe for weekly, objective videos on topics that matter. It's time for another versus battle between two of the greatest tech companies in the history of the world. According to the poll put out last week, 43% of you prefer Apple and 57% prefer Microsoft. Let's start this battle by looking into where these giants got their start. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak first met in 1971. Their first business partnership began later that year when Wozniak, a self-educated electronics engineer, started to build his original blue boxes that enabled one to make long-distance phone calls at no cost. Jobs managed to sell some 200 blue boxes for $150 each and split the profit with Wozniak. By 1975, Jobs withdrew from Reed College and Wozniak withdrew from UC Berkeley, and both started attending meetings at the Homebrew Computer Club. New microcomputers such as the Altair 8800 inspired Wozniak to build a microprocessor into his video terminal and have a complete computer, but due to expense waited for the day he could afford to buy a CPU. But in 1976, MOS Technology released a $20 chip that Wozniak wrote a version for BASIC for and designed a computer for it to run on. And he showed off that machine, later known as the Apple I, at the Homebrew Computer Club, and Jobs saw the commercial potential right away. Jobs eventually convinced Wozniak to go into business together and to start a new company of their own, and Apple was born. Bill Gates and Paul Allen were childhood friends and avid computer geeks. They ran their own small company, Trafo Data, while in high school and sold it to the city of Seattle for counting city traffic. In 1973, Gates left Seattle to attend Harvard as a pre-law student, and Allen moved to Boston to work as a programmer at Honeywell. But in January 1975, Allen read an article in Popular Electronics magazine about the Altair 8800 microcomputer, and he showed it to Gates. Gates called MITS and offered to write a version of the new basic programming language for the Altair. After 8 weeks, Allen and Gates and MITS agreed to distribute and market the product under the new name Altair Basic. The deal inspired Gates and Allen to form their own software company, and Microsoft was born. Let's take a look at the influence these two have had on the computer industry. In 1979, Jobs led a team of engineers to see the innovations created at Xerox. There they were shown the first graphical user interface featuring on-screen windows, a pointing device known as a mouse, and the use of icons. Apple immediately incorporated these ideas into two new computers, Lisa, released in 1983, and the lower-cost Macintosh, released in 1984, which was broadcast during the 1984 Super Bowl, a $2,500 computer unlike any other. In 1985, Apple introduced an affordable laser printer along with Aldus Corporation's PageMaker, the Mac's first app, beginning the desktop publishing revolution. Lastly, Apple created a software database called HyperCard, which helped many teachers to organize multimedia elements for classroom presentations. In 1980, IBM asked Microsoft to produce an operating system for its first personal computer. Microsoft eventually created MS-DOS, which was released in 1981, and by the early 1990s, it had sold more than 100 million copies. Microsoft deepened its position in the operating systems with Windows, a graphical user interface whose third version, released in 1990, gained a wide following. By 1993, Windows 3.0 and its subsequent versions were used on nearly 90% of the world's PCs. In 1995, the company released Windows 95, which for the first time fully integrated MS-DOS with Windows. Microsoft also became the leader in productivity software such as word processing and spreadsheet programs. Now let's check out their greatest products. The iPhone isn't just Apple's greatest hit, it's the most successful consumer product of all time, and it has sold 1.9 billion units as of 2020. Number 2, the App Store. Apple quickly realized the potential of not just selling apps, but offering a safe place to buy them from. Number 3, the Apple Store. Not traditionally thought of as a product, but Apple stores revolutionized the electronic buying experience. Number 4, the iPad. Other attempts at the tablet were unsuccessful, but Apple's approach has made it the #1 tablet in the world. And last, the iPod. What made the iPod special was the way it integrated with iTunes to make music purchasing effortless. Windows 95 is considered Microsoft's greatest product. It has a dynamic interface that millions of people around the world are familiar with. Number 2, Microsoft Azure. Azure is a cloud-based web service and is in many ways the future of Microsoft. It offers virtual machines, app services, SQL databases, and tools. Number 3, Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer for many was the first access to the World Wide Web. Number 4, Microsoft Office. Today it continues to dominate the text editor space and is used by millions. And lastly, the Xbox. Microsoft entered the gaming console war with the release of the Xbox in 2001. Over 75 million units were sold worldwide with popular games like Halo and Gears of War. Now let's dive into each company's business model. Apple's business model is based on innovation and consumer-centric devices. They are able to stay popular due to easy-to-use designs and data migrations to new product lines. Many millennials grew up using Macs in large numbers, which helped the company pull in its consumers to keep using new Apple products and thus more difficult to switch to a competitor. This is called the Apple ecosystem lock. However, nearly 3/4 of all Apple revenue comes from iPhone sales, and no new comparable innovation has taken off since Tim Cook has been CEO. However, Cook has done a good job of preserving Jobs' legacy and has propelled Apple stocks to all-time highs. Microsoft's business model is based primarily on licensing fees charged for the use of the Windows operating system and the Microsoft Office suite. In the race against Google and Apple, Microsoft unveiled a new vision in April 2014, making Windows software more compatible with competitor products like the iPad. Microsoft also has a few successful products like the Surface Pro. Moving forward, however, Microsoft has realized that tablets and phones are replacing PCs. A newer business model has been designed by CEO Satya Nadella, one that emphasizes product integration, a freemium software package, and a concentration on its cloud computing business. Financially, Apple is the world's largest information technology company by revenue and total assets, and is the world's second largest mobile phone manufacturer after Samsung. On August 2, 2018, Apple became the first publicly traded U.S. company to reach a $1 trillion market value, and on August 19, 2020, Apple became the first U.S. listed company to reach $2 trillion, with shares at an all-time high of $467. Microsoft is the world's fifth largest technology company by revenue. It became the third U.S. company to pass the market cap of $1 trillion to join Amazon and Apple. However, back in March, when the economy took a nosedive due to the coronavirus, Microsoft was the only company that retained its value over $1 trillion. Now the company is not far behind Apple in the market value, where today it sits at about $1.6 trillion, and a share of Microsoft at this time is about $213. How have these companies impacted the community? Jobs reportedly told his biographer Walter Isaacson that he could do more to change the world for the better by making great products and not by donating directly to charitable causes. Nevertheless, Apple's charitable efforts included participation in the Product Red Group, working to eliminate HIV and AIDS in Africa, and supporting the Red Cross. Since Tim Cook became CEO, Apple has continued to step up its support for charities and now contributes to environmental causes, fire relief, and natural disaster relief efforts. Recently, Tim Cook announced $100 million toward racial equity and justice initiatives. Microsoft employees lead various projects striving to make a measurable impact in the community. One program, called the Giving Campaign, is a matching contribution program up to $15,000 that gives the opportunity for employees to donate to thousands of nonprofit organizations. Also, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was launched in 2000 and is reported to be the largest private foundation in the world. The primary goals of the foundation are to enhance healthcare and reduce extreme poverty globally and expand educational opportunities in the U.S. In conclusion, Apple revolutionized personal technology with the introduction of the Macintosh in 1984. Today, Apple continues to build innovative products and provide seamless experiences across all of their devices. Microsoft revolutionized the personal computer experience with its development of the highly popular Windows operating system and Microsoft's Office suite. Microsoft's cloud-based vision and focus on helping businesses thrive will continue to propel them into the future of technology. Now you get to decide, which one do you think is better? Did you enjoy this video comparing Apple and Microsoft? Please like and subscribe to Illustrate to Educate. Share this video and don't forget to leave your thoughts about which company you think is superior. And of course, feel free to check out some of my other videos to the right.